Hello, hello, YouTube. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. We have for you today a very special Risk FFA tier list that we have gathered up like 100 plus players who have been active in the Risk community over the last few months. And today we have Easter Bunny, Darager, myself, Kev the Redbeard, and Pooh Monkey going on and rating these players and their FFA skills. We have Croissant also on the call. He's the guy coughing right now. He put together this awesome Google sheet that works for us so we can do all the ratings and voting. And we told the man that since he put this work into it, that he can have some say in some of these discussions. So say hi, everyone.
What's
Hello.
up?
Hello.
Hello.
I,
I
I,
love I love
I,
croissants fucking coughing in there, bro.
yeah.
So I want to murder you already?
I was like deliberately left out. I was like,
I wasn't gonna leave you out. By the way, so we're factoring in some of these things. So each judge has like their own opinion of these players and their experiences with these players. But what we're looking at today, kind of like the factors of like how we're rating these players, is going to be like the person's willingness to win an FFA, their diplo in the game, their technical game skills. So especially like with unit micro, and then also like the player's impact on the game. So maybe they don't care about winning, but maybe they impact the game. Like you see this person in the lobby and you know, okay, this person actually scares me because it can have a huge impact on the game, whether they go for the win or not. And with that said, I think we just dive right in and we just start going. So you can see right now we have our current player, Tyburn. I feel like he's a recent player that's joined the community recently. And Easter, let's start us off with the rating.
All right, so we're talking about Tyburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this guy is relatively new to Risk, and he seems all right in like every aspect so far. Like he tries to win, he kind of tries to diplo. His technical game skill isn't obviously the best because he's very new, and his impact on the game also isn't the best. But that's also because of the lack of technical game skill. I don't know. I'd give this guy a G.
A
I think he's
G.
an above average pub at least. But I just think
Inter-
he's kind of new.
Interesting. Like do know that Tyburn is from the Footman Frenzy community. I think he has Warcraft 3 game based knowledge and how to micro and stuff. I give him an F actually, interestingly enough, because I think he has potential to become even better, but he's just started out. But I think even though he is new, he still has relative good. Like he's catched up really quickly on the game knowledge.
This is actually
Kev?
funny. I'm looking at Pooh on all of our ratings right now, and we literally have him like in the same area, but none of us have him like as like the like none of us have voted for like two G's or two F's. I have him for E. Like he's gonna be a good player, I think, if he keeps playing, but again, he's just newer. I think that's the only reason I have him as low as I do.
I see. Ooh, coming in with the C. Holy moly.
I want to hear this.
Hybern scores a middle of the road. He's the guy that if he's in the game with you and you find out who he is, you want him on your side. And so to me, he gets a C.
Huh.
Impressive. Okay, well, how do we resolve this guy? So our very first player, we're very split here. I think I could be convinced to move him up like maybe one spot or down a spot. So like I could see him also going to an F. Could we convince Easter to move him to an F? Like that would be an
I think
increase for you, right?
I think an F is the best middle ground option between all of us. I am shocked by Poo Monkey's C Vopa.
Yeah, Pooh kind of.
Pooh
I have
went
to
to the
come down
D.
a few pegs here. Holy. All right. Look, I'll settle
Oh,
on an F. I'll settle on the F, but impact on game is huge with Tyburn. That's all I have to say.
I did play one with him, and I gotta say he's a rising star.
I agree, Rising Star for sure. So moving on to the next player now, we have Remy Noob, Darager. How? Let's have you kick it off first.
I've played a lot of games with Raminu, but to be quite frank, I don't know if his impact on the game is really big though. I've played so many games with him that I know he's part of it, but I haven't really have seen him like do big moves on the game that actually shifted things as big. Um, I'm giving this guy, I think, probably an H actually, because
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
see him type a lot. I don't see him willing to win. The technical game skill, if there was any, um, there still is a lot that you can improve. So I guess that's an H for me here.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we
I
all
think we
kind of
all
agree
agree on
with that
H.
one. That was all right. I was a little worried after the Tyburn one that we were all going to be so off, but I think we're pretty much set on the Remy Noob. So, let's go on now to Decal. So, okay, you guys might laugh at my rating for a Decal, but I think it. I mean, I'm actually kind of thinking A, but I'm gonna put B. I think B is like I don't think I go lower than B for Decal. What do you guys think?
I actually
I
like
think
B a
Decal's a
lot.
beast.
Yeah, I like B a lot. I'm gonna
I'd be
go up
willing
from
to
a
move to
C.
B. I think Decal is one of the better pubs that you're going to run to, or one of the best pubs that you'll run into.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
he's so
Yeah.
good. He even won one of the FFA weekly tourneys that we did, if you guys remember that game. So
Oh, true.
like
Exactly.
he's a winner, and like when you go into a lobby, like he always has like a really good chance of winning when
Yeah,
he plays. So
Yeah,
and
he has a big impact on the game. Like I do know that when he's out or when he's in the game, there something happens when he's in there.
yeah, and yeah, he's got good Diplo, good willingness to win, and he's actually good at the game, like technical game skill. Like he knows how to fight. He has okay APM, and he has solid impact on almost every game I've seen it. Like I play with him,
all right,
so I
we
think it's fair.
got our top
Agreed.
rated player right now, Decal. All right, so Pooh, start us off with Arrowhead.
My vote on Arrow is going to be a G. Basically, he gets a low score on everything.
I agree. I agree.
The only
100%.
thing that's nice about Arrow is if you're in Russia and he's in Russia and you're friends, that's great. But other than as soon as you leave Russia, he's gone.
Wait. I see still an H at Easter Bunny. Easter, want to elaborate?
I have I'm genuinely beyond shocked that you guys are putting Arrow in GNF. I feel bad. I don't want to flame poor Arrow, but technical skill isn't the highest. His diplomacy is honestly non-existent. Willingness to win is also non-existent. His impact on the game is there, I guess. So that is
Limited to
something.
Russia.
Yeah,
I just know he
Okay.
always has the total war strat, and it actually does impact the games. Like if he ever gets like somewhat big, and he's like total war, and then he just goes like all in and just like fights like randomly, like he actually moves lobbies and stuff. So that's kind of why I put him at F. But
Mhm.
I think I could drop him down one. So yeah, you
I
guys have him
think
at
I
G as
think
well.
yeah, I think Kevin comes down to G and Easter Bunny comes up to G to meet me and Derringer. And I think we have a good
Yeah,
score.
listen, but it
yeah,
doesn't have to be total votes of 4, by the way, for everybody. It could be like a majority is good enough. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you all don't have to.
Oh, that's
Okay.
also.
One of
that's
my
good to know.
favorite freaking players in Risk, Minamoto.
Oh my gosh.
Easter,
The-
it's your turn to start off, my friend.
I want to hear from everyone on
Uh,
this.
I mean, honestly, I think Minamoto is similar to Dekel, or maybe even slightly better than Dekel. I will say his recent weekly FFA performance was just beyond shocking, but I think everyone has like, one bad game. I think overall Minamoto is mostly pretty good at Diplo. He has very good technical game skill. He's he has a very strong impact on the game for sure. If I see him in the lobby, I'm very scared of him. And his willingness to win is usually there. Like that's kind of 50-50. Sometimes he
Right.
can rage a bit, but when it's there, he's a really tough opponent. So I'd be
Yeah.
happy to give him a B to be honest, or even higher. He is. It is
How,
hard to say.
what
I
about you,
like the
Derringer?
B. I like the B placement because here's the thing with Minamoto. Minamoto is a really good player. When he's playing, like you do fear this guy. He's a really good player that you don't want to face on the battlefield because once you face him, he will hunt you down. He wants you dead, right? But the thing is the following. So the technical game skill and the impact on the game, I would say, is A tier. But his willingness to win and his diplomacy, I would place both of these rubrics to C or D, especially because the willingness to win is for me A to S if this guy really in the most of games
Mhm.
really wants to win. But I've seen Minamoto, I've seen him throw games for the most mundane things that I've seen. Like
Right.
he will sometimes do the Russian style and say, "You will go down with me. I don't care about the win anymore. I will burn everything if you don't
Wow.
win." Right?
Controversial.
Right, and that's what he will do, and his diplomacy will devolve into something like a just
True.
flaming, right, trash talk or whatever. But if those two things would be better, he would be even A. But I'll place him at a B together with Easter.
Yeah, I think I could be convinced to go down to a B after that as well. Like Minamoto, like if you see him in a lobby, you're instantly like obviously the name pops out and you're a little scared and you're like, okay, like this guy has to be dealt with because if he ever gets big, like and also like he's such a grudger. So if you ever do
Exactly.
anything, like you don't want to do stuff bad to people because if it's Mina, like you said, he'll suicide you. So I think yeah, I'd go B as well. How
I'm
about you?
settled on B.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Mina making
All
it to
right.
the B. Next player is No Swear.
Mm.
Anyone have some thoughts about No Swear? I'm not actually too familiar. I recognize the name, but I'm not too familiar with the gameplay, which usually means that they probably don't make it that far in the game and have little impact, like on that, like the end of the game. But I've seen the person play so much, so I'm putting them as H. I definitely wouldn't put anyone as I unless that person's truly awful, and I know that they're awful, but I think I go H.
I agree with the H to them, and I see him fly out in the beginning of the games very often. But
Yeah.
the name sticks with me,
Yeah.
but he's played a lot of games, so yeah. H is probably good.
I think H is very fair.
Yeah.
Spartacus. Okay.
Spartacus.
Oh no, guys. Does anyone have thoughts on Spartacus? Anyone want to start us off there?
Oh, I don't know if
Who's
I've seen this
Spartacus?
guy. Like I've seen this name pop up. But maybe I am actually mistaking this guy for Leonidas, which is
No,
very.
it's Spartacus 91. I think
No,
that's
no,
his
no.
full.
I don't have anything here. Okay
I
then.
I I think Spartacus. So Spartacus would be better than
A
Remy Noob or
G.
No Swear. I mean maybe an H and just a better version of an H, I guess, like a top tier H player. Spartacus is sometimes he goes a little unhinged in the lobbies and he's pretty easy to tilt and you can tell who he is, but he's very fun to play with. Pooh has him as an F. Pooh, why so high?
Well, I've played with Spartacus quite a few times, and so maybe I'm biased, but I really like the way he plays. He doesn't have a willingness to win, but he's got diplomacy. He doesn't have technical game skill, and he doesn't have impact on game. But if you score high in diplomacy, I put you above Arrowhead.
I like that. All right. Well, I think Pooh is on the outside looking in for Spartacus. Darius or Easter, anything else to say about Spartacus before submitting?
I
I
mean,
mean, I could be moved to G if he has good diplo. My problem with Spartacus is that I feel like I recognize the game, but I don't remember what
The
he's
thing
done
is,
in
for
my
Spartacus,
games.
he's very similar to Arrow, where he never tries to win, but his impact on game is quite big because when he pirates or when he basically just goes on makes his decisions, it always throws somebody else's game off, right? But he never wins. He has poor diplo, but he always screws with people over. That's my experience with him. So
I
he does have like a certain kind of impact to the game.
I think Pooh got us to move up to G. So
mhm.
Spartacus, that Diplo worked for Pooh, and you moved out of the H tier. Congratulations, you're a G player. Uh, next
Well played,
person,
Spartacus.
yeah, OSB. So OSB actually doesn't play too many FFAs, but when he does, I mean, I think he's one of the better players in the Risk community. I'm gonna say A just because I feel like he has like obviously the impact on the game, the technical skill. He also kind of does some great diplomacy plays. I've been in some lobbies with him and he does a good job actually talking to people, and sometimes the top Risk players don't use diplomacy, and so it's actually kind of cool that he does. Kind of reminds me of Dowda. And then he does always try to go for the
Mm.
win as far as I can see. So what do you guys think?
I placed eighth first, but I think this guy is a solid ass player.
I think we
Actually,
got to. OSB is a pumper. We all know it.
I
Everyone
love
watching
it.
knows it. That
I
guy.
love
If
it.
you're in a lobby with
He's,
OSB, he's feared for
yeah,
every category.
All right.
exactly.
yeah, he's got good willingness to win, good diplo, good technical game skill, good impact on the game.
I
Yeah,
freaking love it.
this is a monster we're dealing with here.
All right. Well, I'm convinced. Our first S tier player, then unanimous S tier
Yeah,
player. That's perfect.
And he
well
deserves
deserved.
it. He deserves it.
All right.
No.
So Mallrats, I'm gonna say C only because we have Decal and Minamoto in B. Mallrats is actually when you see him, like he's a good player in the game and he can actually mess up your games for sure. What are you guys thinking about Mallrats?
Hmm. I think he's an E kind of player, in my opinion. Like I've seen him play a lot of games. Like he has definitely the Diplo game in himself. Like he owns that. Um, I do see some specific technical game skill because he can be really really annoying. I've experienced that on my own, and he does have an impact on the game, especially if he teams up together with someone. Like on a standalone basis, not, but he will have definitely an impact here. I'll place him in an E. That's my
Yeah, I'll move down to E actually.
All right, all right. Easter
It's
actually.
hard to say about mole rats because I remember, yeah, he can be quite annoying, especially when he allies himself with people. So he has the Diplo to ally himself with people, and he's good enough at the game to be very annoying.
Mm,
But the problem is that he hasn't played in a while, actually, so I don't remember. I don't remember his willingness to win too much. I feel like I have a lot of memories of him kind of just giving up when going for the win or throwing games.
Yeah,
But
you
he
know what?
can
My
be quite
my
annoying.
rating of him is nosediving right now.
you're
But I
yeah.
mean, he is someone that you're gonna like. I fear mole rats more than I fear Arrow or Spartacus or even Tyburn. If I'm gonna be very honest here, I think E is fair.
All right.
we can start with E, and if our opinion changes later on, we can still change it.
Pooh started at like a D and he kept dropping it slowly after every note for
It
Mallrats.
started flooding back to me. Mallrats knows. Mallrats knows.
Okay, Arfin,
Yeah, but
guys.
he's gonna be more. He's a bigger threat than Arrow and Spartacus. I would say. Honestly, I'd say mole rats is a bigger threat than even Tyburn. So yeah, I think E is very
Fair.
fair.
Yeah.
I agree.
Arfan.
All right, Arfin. I think Arfin's A.
I think our fans. I mean, the problem with Arfan is just some of his decision making, which I consider Diplo not just like the way you type, but knowing who to hit. Like knowing if I attack this guy, I'll be friends with these other people or I'll be enemies with these other people. Like I consider that to be a part of Diplo, and our fans just I think has zero awareness of who to hit. Like he can make some very, very shocking decisions, and he often expands in like two places on the map. I think that's like what lowers him for me. Like sometimes his decision making can just be so atrociously bad. But his willingness to win is okay. His technical game skill honestly could be up into A tier, and his impact on the game is pretty high. But it's just yeah, like I said, for me it's his diplomacy that I think just puts him so low. Or just lowers him to B, I think.
Interesting that the diplomacy part on your end is so bad because I've made experiences with Arfan's diplomacy to be actually pretty good, which actually has a really big impact on the game. I remember a game with him where he actually said, like, he is one to not sit. Like his impact on the game goes to A to S tier because he really loves to fight, and his technical game skill is really good. I think sometimes his willingness to win is going to actually that is one thing that is placing him at B for me because if that was higher, he would be A. But I've seen him sometimes just give away the win just because, just like that. And
Yeah, his willingness to win isn't the highest as well.
yeah, so B here in my opinion.
B. I like B. I like Arfan. I like his gameplay.
Yeah, Hoffman is a pumper.
All right, Arfin moving on to B. I still kept him as an A though. Morrowind. So another familiar face, but again, not entirely sure I've seen Morrowind really make it too far in the FFA lobbies. He kind of reminds me of like a no swear, like you just see him around a lot. So I'm gonna just go H with this one.
Yep.
Mhm.
He just won. He just won 2 games today, actually.
Oh, we're in lobbies that you were in?
I
Yeah,
played
yeah,
a
yeah.
decent number of games with Morrowind, and honestly, I'm shocked you guys have him at H. He has a
Really?
decent amount of impact
No,
in
I
the
agree.
games
I
I
agree with
play.
Easter. He actually gets to the end game quite often.
Yeah, he does.
Awesome.
He gets to the end game in my lives, and he plays pretty decent. Like his technical game skill isn't terrible. His Diplo, he doesn't type much, but like I mentioned, he usually knows who to hit. Like he has a good awareness of that. And I don't know, my experience, he had good impact on the game, but I guess that's just that can
Yeah,
obviously
Interesting.
be
Easter.
like
Yeah,
subjective.
correct.
I've
And
The
I
fact
don't
that
know
played
we
if
have
his
four
willingness
people
to
here.
win.
I've played a
I
lot with this guy, and I don't think I've ever seen him make it super far. So, like,
I
because
guess we
the
can.
name definitely stands out. Like, I'm definitely familiar with this person. Like, they play in lots of lobbies with me. Um, that's interesting though that we're all having like some different experiences with this one. I could go up for sure. But I would still probably have him on like the lower end of the tier list.
I think E maybe something like a Mallrats type kind
We
of
can
play.
go.
Oh my
E or
gosh,
F.
guys. All right, Mallrats to me is way better than Morrowind. So in Tyburn would okay. I'll go F. I'm not going higher. So you guys do you now. If you want to all do E, you do E.
We got the E
All
placement, I
right.
guess.
We got the
Send
E
it.
placement.
That is nuts to me. Like Mallrats is I feel like so much better. Like oh okay. Cap Kirk. Derringer,
Hmm.
thoughts on Cap Kirk?
I mean, this guy has been pumping some FFAs lately, and I gotta say, he I think is the epitome of a G player.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
That was a. Oh wow.
I could do G for sure with Cap Kirk. I actually
Those are
don't
some
play.
confident G's.
Yeah, I don't play with him too much, but he does kind of seem around like the G level.
All right.
I don't know. I
Anyone
think
else?
he's around H or G. And, like I feel like I played a decent number of
Mhm.
games with him. I don't remember him too well, but if you guys have strong
To be
opinions,
honest,
put
I
him in
think
G.
I think with Easter, right? It's together. It's he's actually closer to an H in my opinion because he has minimal impact on the game whenever I see him, and he almost never wins also. So and technical game skill isn't there as well. So to put him like Arrow's not good, but like to put him together with Arrow, I think Arrow's just marginally better as well.
Well, we
Than
got
I
three
like
G's.
All right, we
I
do have
like,
three
but
Gs.
wait.
Oh,
I like the comments. Like, if we were to compare Cap Kirk with Arrow or Spartacus, do we think that the dude would be
no, I
better?
don't think so.
I think. I mean, yeah. I'm actually now thinking he probably would be H. Maybe we.
I'd be down to place him down to H as well.
All right.
Any objections?
These are sad times for Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cap Kirk.
I
Pooh,
mean,
did you
me-
have him all the way up in E for real? Was that
Look,
your?
Simon Cowell.
All right.
I love the talent that we have in this list.
I
I mean,
love it.
someone's gotta hype up the pups, though.
This one's gonna be a really good one. Easter has to start with Jaeger.
Oh,
So here's the
So
problem with Jaeger. It's like the
Willingness
man
to win is zero.
is
It's like
just
not there.
his Diplo and willingness to win is just so bad, but his technical game skill and impact on the game is so good. I mean, I put him at C because I feel like he is like an S tier with the bottom two for the rubric, but like an F or like I tier for the top two of the rubric. So what do you guys think?
oh, this is hard. I gotta say, to Jaeger, he wins FFAs. Like, he wins them. Like, if he wants to. That's the thing here. So I guess the side of Jaeger that we've been seeing is just the CBA kind of Jaeger, which does chip away from his willingness to win. Technical game skill and impact on game, I would say, is even S level. So I put them on A because, I mean, I'd love to put Jaeger on yes if the diplomacy and willingness to win would be there. But this guy nevertheless wins FFAs if he wants to, and he will get them. To put him in C, I think is I think B could work. You know what? I'm gonna go B.
I
I
love B on this one.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my problem with Jaeger is that willingness to win, diplomacy is so low. Technical game skill, obviously, he'd be really high up there, but impact on the game. The problem with Jaeger is I've just had too many games where he's just dead within the first 5 minutes. Like, it's like a 50-50 whether he gets bigger or not. So
That's
he's not
Yeah.
like
true.
consistent on impact on the game, which is also another problem I have with
I
him.
think that just
Like
ties
I'm
into not caring. He doesn't care about the game.
yeah, like a problem for me is that I feel like Dekel, Minamoto, Arfan, these guys they survive. Well, actually, Minamoto and Dekel they survive up to like the late game
Mm.
very often. While Jaeger, half
Mm.
the time, even if he gets to the late game, he just throws the game instantly. But I think B could be a fair middle ground, or C if you guys are still down.
I
I
mean, your assessment gave me to C. Sorry, Kev.
No, you're fine. I think like C was my initial thought, and then I was gonna go up to meet you guys, but I think C is a really good spot for him. Like you make some good
Yeah,
points, Easter.
I don't want to overrate Jaeger.
If
Yeah,
the
my
man
problem is just he
tried or
doesn't
cared.
survive to the late game as often as he should. But yeah,
Oh my
Okay.
God. Okay.
The Rager, can you vote H for this one? Just
So
just
just chill.
the problem with Todd, I actually don't. I have never really played an FFA with him. I know his 1v1 skills and his technical skills, but for FFA rating, I'm kind of malleable here to be swayed either way. So you guys let me know.
So I can lose a couple of words on my friend Todd here. So Todd he has technical game skills for sure, but I think where he's really much lacking, and the willingness to win, I would say is B tier, both of the technical game skill and the willingness to win. But what puts him back all the way, I think, is diplomacy and impact on game. Like I've seen him sometimes just get teamed to death by 3-4 people, and him not being able to recover from anything. Like he'll just throw the towel and say fuck this shit, right, and then leave it, and then join the next BA game or whatever. So this is putting him, I think, on a C or D. That's where I'm thinking right now. But I'm gonna wait for your assessments.
Mm.
Oh, Easter and Pooh have him as a B.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
Solid
about
B.
how if I see Todd in the lobby, I'm probably as scared of Todd as I am as the other players in B tier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking if Jaeger's a C, Todd has to at least be a C. So again, not too familiar with his FFA gameplay, but I mean, if Pooh and Easter are put in B, I'll go B as well.
We got a solid B, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I
I
mean, I feel
trust
like
your
Todd actually
judgment.
has willingness to win, which makes him an actual threat in the game. Because Jaeger, I just know, oh, I just have to not piss this guy off. While Todd, it's like, okay, well, I have to actually deal with Todd at some point because I'm trying to win, and so is he.
It
So
does make
Todd is
sense.
like much
Yeah.
more of a threat.
I think I misinterpreted the willingness to win in the sense of when you're going to get teamed, right? Like, and you give up. That doesn't mean that you didn't have the will to win. You wanted to win so much that maybe it got you to be team 3 versus 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, gotta
at
be
least he's
careful.
trying to win in the first place.
Yeah.
All
Right.
right.
Phantom.
Yeah, I've never seen this person before, so again, I'm leaving
When I
this one to you guys.
see this name, just H comes to my mind. I don't know why.
I mean,
Tempton never. I played with him a few times. He never reaches end game. Maybe middle game at most. So he usually dies quite early. Can't expand as well. So he definitely belongs in age for
Mhm.
FFAs.
Okay, so
Okay.
just another familiar face in the community.
Yeah, I just want to say before we move on from him, he does leave games often. Femton, if you are watching, you could be a great risk player if you stuck around, played a little bit harder when you're small. Don't worry about being too big.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say that.
So this is actually Jace the Bold, but I've permanently changed his name to Jace the Traitor. So thoughts on Jace in your FFA games? I feel like he does sometimes make it to the end. Like he's like a solid player. I kind of would think he's around like maybe Tyburn or maybe even in the G. Um, I'm not exactly sure on his technical skills and impact on the game, but I think for me, I would probably put him in the G tier.
yeah, I like Jace, but I don't know.
He's usually a pirate when I see him, though. I
Yeah,
think.
he really is usually a small player. I think his Diplo seems alright. His technical game skill, he just doesn't play the game enough. His impact on the game, he's often just usually too small to have much of an impact. And
He's a
willingness to win,
pirate. He's a pirate
I don't
player. Yeah,
really,
100%.
yeah, I don't really know about his willingness to win. I haven't seen him like go for the win ever really. But so I guess like a fair G.
I'll go with the majority here.
Really? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to disagree, but actually think he's an F. And I want to try and convince you guys because Jace is like Arrowhead. Not to say that he should just be ahead of Arrow,
That's
but
not a good
if
starter.
if you have Jace in Greenland and he's diploed with you, he will stick around. His impact on the game will be huge. He will make a sail ship and go to Siberia. He will make a sail ship and dodge around Portugal over to Malta and get to Israel. He will play for you. He might not play for the win every time, and if he gets too big, he's probably going to get dissolved. So his technical game skill might not be there. But he's a player, a real player, and I think he deserves to be an F tier.
All right,
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know why you
convinced
mentioned
actually.
Greenland, but actually, when I think of Jace, I always think of Jace being in Greenland also.
You're not that's a real thing. That's
you convinced us
that's
all.
what he does.
All right,
All right.
It's me too.
Jace getting the F tier.
Nicely done.
Universe. All right, so Universe actually hasn't played recently, I think. When he was playing though, I think he would probably be gosh, I just remember he's had some really good fights in some games and his technical skills were actually pretty good, but I don't think I've ever really seen him win or get to the end game. I think he's probably like upper G, lower F in my opinion. I'm
Okay.
probably gonna maybe I think I'm gonna do G just because again he hasn't played too much recently. What do you guys think?
I think you're right. He hasn't played too much recently. I still think he's an F because, like you said, I've seen him have some good fights. Which I don't want to flame the people in G. That's a lot more than I could say about the people in G. Like Universe can like put up a good fight, so I think he's definitely an F at the very lowest.
Okay.
He will care about the game. He does have the guts to, like he has a lot of emotions in this game. I just recently watched an FFA with Jax and him, and goddamn shame that we don't have Jackson here because he would give a really good assessment about Universe, but I'll place him in F because he was giving him not a hard time, but he was giving him some time, in the game. So
I mean,
it's
honestly, that boosts me to an E.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
wait.
F.
All right, Pooh, you originally had him in E. Are you
I
but
had
you
him in E,
Yep.
but only because of good fights. Really, everything else, I have
Okay.
nothing good to say. I'm sorry, universe.
I have nothing else to say. He was also invited to the 1v1 tournament too because of his technical skills, so okay, Deans. I know Deans. I know his skill and his gameplay level. I just don't know how Deans is in an FFA.
Diaz might be our first side player. No, I'm sorry.
No,
He will definitely. I player to me is like you're really new and you have no idea what you're doing. Deans at least knows what he's doing. I think he's just there to have a good time. That's. I think he for me
Yeah.
he's H. If I had to go, but again I haven't played too many FFAs, so I'll leave it to you all to convince me otherwise.
you know what?
You convinced me that he could even be. You definitely convinced me that he's an H when he said he's just there to have a good time. So willingness to win isn't there. Diplomacy, I honestly I have not seen him
I
diplo
love
much. Technical game skills not there. Impact in game isn't there either. And yes, right, Dercha?
I love how Pooh just has not put in his vote right now.
look,
He's
I'm not. I'm
waiting.
not going to be able to convince you in the same way I convinced you about Jace, and I don't want to use up all of my political points here. But if I believe in standing in for what's right, that's where I go. But
Oh
I
my!
won't hold you guys to it.
You would go all the way to D? You
I
put him
would.
above Mallrats?
I
No,
would.
no, above Mallrats and Morrowind, right below Jaeger is hard
I
to believe,
understand
though.
there's a difference of opinion, but you know what? He's impressed one of the judges.
Wow. All right. Well, I
All
like
right, but
keep this in mind, Deans, if you're watching. Pooh refused to use his Diplo points on you, and he instead chose Jace over you. So, as much as he looks like a friend right now, just remember he didn't actually fight for you too hard.
True.
Just kidding, Pooh.
That's an angle.
All right, Hasoon.
This man will always have a special place in my heart.
I
This is a solid D, and I'm not going to be convinced of anything other than that.
I am with you, dude. I like the second I think Hasoon, I think D player. Like the man, he does get big. Like he gets big in almost any FFA game I see him in. I just don't think he ever really wins. Who has him in I? Why an I, Pooh?
This is going to be controversial.
Very controversial. I'm keeping this
Exactly.
guy at C.
Do
I'm going
you
to say
have
it.
anything to say? Yeah.
I'm going to say it. So, not too long ago on one of the streams, Husoon was watching the stream while in the game. Now, he might be right on all the technicalities, but there's one technicality that gets you an I: cheating.
Oh, what?
Oh.
oh, he just got called out cheating. That's
Okay.
Now,
heavy.
I'm not saying Husoon deserves to be labeled a cheater, but as a judge, after seeing that, it was only a few days ago. So he gets an I
If
for
it
me.
if it's
I think
fair,
mistakes happen.
the
That's fine.
gold wasn't displayed during that one. So for the one for him to be
True,
cheating in
actually.
quotations, there was no competitive advantage gained
Yep.
by watching. But I
Look,
can
I'm
see
not,
that.
like I say, I don't want to label him a cheater. Maybe it was a mistake, but to me, that's probably happened before.
I think Hasoon just liked listening to us talk about him as we were playing, like
Mhm.
watching his gameplay. And
Mhm.
like if I'm a viewer, I could totally see myself wanting to do that as well. But it is a tournament, so I understand. And Easter has him all the way up into C. Why a C, Easter?
Because this guy's a beast. He's given me emotional damage in the past. And like you guys said, he gets big in a lot of his games, so you do have to like deal with him. So I think we can just go with a D middle ground, to be
All
honest.
right, I like that. Next up is GD
Hasoon,
Engelman.
sorry, Kev.
Oh yeah.
One last thing. Hasoon, if you watch this video, just drop in the comments your opinion on what happened. Just let us know. Maybe it was a mistake or something. Just let us know, please. All right, sorry, Kev. Let's go with GD Engelman.
Yeah, GD Engelman, I'm not too familiar. Again, I obviously know him, but not really familiar with the gameplay. Easter says I mean, I don't think he's an I tier. I think if GD Engelman joins a lobby, he's actually pretty decent at the game. I mean, I'm
What
thinking
the?
like F. You got, oh my God, maybe I'm overthinking. I just thought GD Engelman was actually like a decent, solid risk player.
You don't know
Engelman's
him
like
like we
a
do.
All right,
Engelman's 100% an I. Like
I
he's not even.
I think Engelman, if we're gonna stop being a little mean, he could be an H player. I'd say. I think that's a fair
I want to
assessment.
hear. I want to hear Pooh's and Easter's assessment first, and oh, you guys are changing it. You guys
okay.
are being way too hard on my boy GD Engelman. I've seen this
Yeah,
guy
you
play risk.
guys
This
were
guy is
being
up for
hard
You
for
nothing.
also
sure.
put this guy in H.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
an
put him in
I?
H. You guys put him in
You were
I.
gonna make
That's
him the
why.
first I player? Like GD Engelman, you do not deserve that, by the way. I have you F and I refuse to go lower.
Let's
I
just
mean,
send the next one. We don't lose any other words on my boy here.
Did I hit next here? What happened? Uh-oh. Wait.
Okay, are we having a little technical difficulty here?
Yeah, was GD Engelman maybe in there twice? So he moved up when I hit next. Maybe just get rid of him down here. And then
Maybe we just send him again.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
we have
yeah.
Puma.
There we go. Now we're oh. All right, so Pooh
Oh,
actually cannot rate himself. That is the one rule of this FFA tier
Can
list. You
I
cannot rate
replace him?
yourself. No. No. Yeah, no, actually you can't because
actually,
you're a troll, bro.
No, no, no.
no, no, but
I'm honest. I've been giving good feedback
I
Tell
until
like
now
I
in
like
it.
I like having Croissant as the coming in if somebody's in the jury. I like the idea.
All right, let's hear it, Croissant. What do you give Pooh Monkey? You can use Pooh's voter to do it.
No, 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 no. Pooh's definitely an A, right? Diplo's there, technical game skill, impact on game, willingness to win. It's just I think I haven't personally often seen him actually win games in the experience that I've had with him. So that's why it's just slightly lower because when I play with OSB, I always see him like kind of owning all of his games, like dominating all of it. So just maybe slightly less than that, but definitely more than a Minamoto and Todd in that regard.
What about you, Derringer? You got S tier?
So I was torn between A and S. Something like when I saw Easter and Pooh with the assessment of A, I was like, okay, let's go with the rubrics. Willingness to win. This man who wants to win. This is an S tier willingness to win. I've seen this man play in YouTube videos. I've seen him, persevere through the hardest times. He will stay if he can win this game. Diplomacy. I don't think there's one bigger rat and diplomat than Pooh can be in this game. He has made me rage so hard sometimes by the way he was typing to other players, making them attack someone. Like this guy knows how to talk to people. Technical game skill. This is the only thing that would have placed him at an A or B or C, whatever, because this guy's got rusty, but I think he still has the guts. Like if he really wants to, he will up his game and actually become really good if he wants to and has it. An impact on the game. I don't think there's been any game where Pooh has not had any impact, other than a few ones where basically in the first couple of rounds you might just have bad spots or people that just spawn 4 rifles on you. But that's just the way it is. So that's from my side.
yeah, I'm convinced when we look at the actual like metrics we're using to measure it, willingness to win is there. Diplo is definitely S tier. Technical game skill. I mean, if Pooh's not like S tier on that, then there's not very many people we're gonna give S tier to. Impact on the game. He's usually got insane impact on the game.
Yeah.
Even
Even as a
like
pirate, yeah. I've
yeah,
watched every single Pooh Monkey video, like literally every single one, like from when the channel was first created, and even with the old channel that you guys had. So that's all I'm gonna say. He's an S tier. There's like no question, and I was not gonna accept anything less. I'm glad that we have
Yeah.
a S tier consensus.
I'm glad I could convince Easter Bunny for the S, and I'm glad I could convince Pooh to think better of himself.
Oh, that was Croissant voting for him.
Oh, that was Croissant, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so fresh guys. This
Oh
one
my God.
is actually interesting to me. I say A for Fresh, and the reason why he isn't an S is because sometimes he plays so bizarre. He's just such a bizarre risk player, and people that
Right.
play him, they're just like, "What? Why are you doing this?" Like the moves that he makes are just so weird. But I think he is like kind of an S in like almost all of these categories, but overall I think he has to be an A just because of how weird he can be sometimes.
I mean, I disagree. I think that his problem is his willingness to win. He often joins a game with the intention of just pirating for someone to the end, and it
Yes.
makes people furious. And his Diplo is, for the most part, alright. His technical game skill is really good as well. Like, I'd say it's almost S tier. And his impact on the game, I don't know why, I don't know how Fresh plays. No matter what, I've never seen anyone more consistent on having impact on the game. You know, some people can have just a bad game and die in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Fresh just that never happens to Fresh. Even
Yeah.
when he's small, he's always coming back and having an impact. Like his impact on the game is like unholy.
Yeah.
So I think, but it's just his willingness to win, and yeah, his
Right.
strange
Yeah.
decision making. I think that keeps him at A.
And Derge, are
Interesting.
you staying at the S tier?
I will stay with my judgment on the S tier. Unfortunately, we have here democracy at work. But for me, Fresh is an S player because he's beaten people in the S tier bracket, which we're I think most likely also going to put Easter in. I've seen this guy win against Easter not
Yes.
only once, very often times. I've seen him play so good. I've seen him come back. I've seen him be pirate and rat the one that he was pirating for to win the game in the end. I've seen him do so many crazy plays. He's won, I think, the tournament as well. This guy actually, in my opinion, deserves an S, but I do understand the notion that a lot of people will find his style bizarre. They will find his way of play to ruin the game sometimes. So I can understand where you guys are coming from, but I'll stay at S at least for this one.
Love it.
I mean,
Standing your
yeah.
ground.
Last thing I'll say about Fresh, if he had the willingness to win, like if he was more consistent in that,
Mm.
and he'd easily be an S for me. It's just like I said, he often I feel like joins the game with the intention of being a pirate and pirating for someone to the end.
I see. I see. I mean, all right.
So
We got Levi.
yeah, this is actually a hard one for me because I want to put him towards the top, but with how we have certain players rated, like I'm kind of thinking C. But I want to put B, but I think like Decal,
Yeah,
Mina, Arfin, and Todd are better than Levi in FFAs. But Levi is like really technically sound. I've seen him have some crazy battles against Pooh and like do some crazy defenses. I remember a tournament game where like Pooh was trying to assault Morocco and Levi was just absolutely killing it. And when Levi's in those tournament games too, like I'm actually convincing myself to put him in a B. He's just a
I
good
could go with
player.
B.
He is a
Yeah.
yeah.
good
You were
player.
trying to justify him and you just kept complimenting him.
Yeah. Any
I,
qualms with a B rating for this one, guys?
I
I
mean,
don't
for
have a
me,
hard
I think
opinion.
yeah, I think his willingness to win is there. Like he actually tries to win. His Diplo is pretty good. Like he knows who to hit and he knows how to talk to people. His technical game skill is also pretty high up there. His impact on the game, that's the only one where I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he just randomly dies
Mm.
early on, but I don't know. More often than not, he gets to the late game and has an impact. So I think he's a solid B. Like he's definitely a decent threat if you see him in a lobby.
Send the B, I guess.
All right, we got a B for Levi.
All right.
Next up is
Jax.
Jax, and Jax actually isn't
So
here. He was gonna be here with
Hmm.
us. He did help put together this list of players.
This is hard.
This is a really hard one.
I think we
Oh,
all
I
need
want
a
to.
minute of silence for Jax here.
I
This
want
is
to say
really
why
hard.
it's hard, and I think we can all agree. This doesn't mean. The truth is, Jax is a sitter,
Yes.
Mhm.
and so it's hard to judge what being a sitter means with our four
I mean,
key
it's his
points in
willingness
mind.
to win is usually pretty high.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He is willing to sit for hours for it, and he's willing to diplo with people.
Yeah.
I have very hard opinions and very vague opinions on the rubric. Willingness to win, S. Diplomacy, S plus 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 plus.
Right.
Uh, Technical game skill, A to B. Impact on game. Oh, this is hard because sometimes just
E. E.
yeah. I mean,
Low.
sometimes yeah. This is like this is where the
Yeah,
problems
that's the
come
problem with
in.
Jackson. I do think he's inconsistent with having impact on the game, but I think he's pretty high up on all the other 3 metrics. So I would honestly, for me, it's like a decision between B and A. But we're all looking at C right now, I guess.
I
So
mean, no, let's no. I wouldn't give him C. That's it's too hard.
I think C is a little harsh. I think
I
at the
would
worst
do.
he's a B.
No, let's take an example. So we do know that Jax is a sitter. Okay, but in the tournament last week, he has proven that he can hold up a good fight against Saksu, even though he lost. But he wasn't sitting in that fight. He didn't have all the gold. I hate Jax for the plays that I play with him, but he is a decent player. I think this guy deserves an A. Actually, I would say.
Really, from C to A. I
I
respect
jumped.
the judgment.
I jumped from C
I
to A
wasn't at
too.
C. C was there only because of Levi
Uh,
before.
I see. I see.
I was
Jax
a
is an A
C,
player.
and I'm actually thinking like Jax reminds me of Poo Monkey, except Jax sits. Like that's the only difference between Jax and Poo Monkey to me. I think they're the same quality of player in Diplo and everything else, but Jax's style is to sit. But like I feel like in the same sense that we have Fresh at A, like I think Jax has to be A.
I mean, Jax deserves a spot on A only because if there was a rubric on diplomacy that we can give more than S, like he would be S plus plus
Yeah.
plus plus,
Yeah.
just and that would just outweigh everything else. This guy, he knows how to manipulate people. He knows how to talk to the people. He knows how to get the people riling. I've played many games against Jax in FFAs, and this man just knows it, and he deserves the A, even though I hate him very much for it.
All
Yep.
right, let's move on to clocks now. So clocks, I feel like
Ooh.
I've in the
This one's so
FFAs,
beyond confusing for me.
it's tough, right? In FFAs, because I don't know, he he's such a good player, but I'm not sure exactly in the FFAs. There is actually a game I posted recently to the YouTube channel where he does win, and he does it really well. So he wins FFAs, but I'm just not sure how consistent he is at winning. He's just so technically sound, and like I don't know about his Diplo though. I'm gonna need to be
His
convinced
Diplo's not
here.
really that good typically during FFAs. I mean, if you were to just limit it to 1v1s, that's fine. But then his Diplo is not really there during FFAs.
I
Watch's
mean,
version of Diplo is whispering his friends on BattleNet.
Okay.
It's 0.
hmm,
Like I think
Oh
I'm
wait,
more afraid of Jaeger than I am of Clocks in a lobby, but I'm also more afraid of Clocks than I am Hasoon. So if there was something in between here, like maybe upper D, lower C, that's where I kind of feel Clocks deserves to be.
I
It
think.
is
High end of
Sorry,
D.
between C and D for me.
Oh, we are tied.
I'll go
Uh-oh.
D. I'll
so
go D. It was a
Okay.
soft C to go with, but
Yeah,
D
it's
sounds right.
hard.
All
The
right.
problem with clocks
wait,
is
wait.
it's my experience with clocks is just so weird. Every game I play with clocks, he's on the other side of the map of me, and typing like Lego, typing about how his like
Mm.
girlfriend has like a bubble butt or something. Like and he's typing this in caps lock, and then he just gets teamed to death like shortly after typing stuff like that. Like
I love how,
I'm just it's so strange to me the way clocks plays.
out of context, no one knows what that means, but if you're a Risk player, you know exactly what Easter Bunny's talking about.
Yeah.
The worst
Yeah.
part, I honestly don't even know about that Lego meme. It's so deranged to me because I don't know that meme, and I'm just
What?
wondering what is Clocks doing as he
Huh.
gets teamed. And but I think
I
just
see.
technical game skill. I mean, he has to be at a D minimum. If he semi even tries
Yeah.
to play the game, he should be a D at the very least.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I'm actually just looking at the time. I need to walk my dogs, so I'm gonna let you
No
continue
problem.
on, and let's have Croissant do this, and then I'll be back. I'm
Well,
looking
we
at
can
the
we
player
can
list as
pause and
well.
I can edit this out easily.